Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are looking at another devlog for War Thunder, and this is about the Israeli aviation tree. Now the beta testing is going to be coming in the next update, and well, we all knew this was coming, right? After the release of the A4 and also the Spitfire, which is for Israel, the premiums in the last update, it was pretty much obvious that we were going to get the aviation side of things for Israel this year in the last update. At the same time, we're probably going to get the Israeli ground forces next year at some point, maybe in the first or second update of the year, but at least right now it is good to focus on the Israeli Air Force, because that's what is actually confirmed. We also have the update name as well, which is pretty cool. It's update Winged Lions, which I think is actually a pretty nice little update name. It's pretty overall okay. And when we have a look at the tech tree itself, it has a few unique aircraft, but not many. A lot of it is aircraft from other nations, mainly because that's what Israel used when it comes to their actual, air forces. A lot of it was used by other nations, and then what you see, at least in this tech tree, is variants of it. There is a few unique aircraft. The S-199 is pretty interesting. The Czechoslovakian Bf-109. Then you also have stuff like the Spitfire LF Mark 9Es, the CW, the Meteor NF-13, the Night Fighter variant, the Sambad as well, and also the Tsar and the Kafir, which are variants of pre-existing aircraft in the game. And then you even have stuff like the B-17G, which is around. The top of the tree will be the Kafir C7 and also the F-4E Phantom II, but one of the more interesting one is the Nesher. And the reason for this is because this is a very high-tier bomber aircraft. So we'll have to see what actually happens with that, because normally bomber aircraft at high tiers are kind of insane when it comes to their general use. The Nesher also is more of a multi-role fighter as well, and being obviously based off of the Mirage. And the general feeling of the Nesher should be really interesting, just because it gets 2 30s. It also gets 6 underwing hardpoints and 1 under fuselage hardpoint, and can carry nearly 10,000 pounds of ordnance, including 2 air-to-air missiles or 12 or 13,000 pounds of bombs. So this one could be really interesting. At the same time, it was also used by South Africa, so it could eventually end up in the British tree, but who knows. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a separate video looking at all of the specific vehicles, the different variants and what they are when it comes to the Israeli tech tree, just so we can give you a little bit of information when it comes to the tech tree itself and how it's going to work. One of the more interesting things about this tech tree is actually the way that you access it. So first of all, you can buy a pack, so you can get the Iser Weizmann's Spitfire pack, the LF Mark 9E, or you can get the A4E IAF pack. Both of these are on the store. Both contain some GE and premium accounts, and also the premium planes themselves. If you buy them today, you actually get them today, so you can actually use them straight away and use them to grind out your crew skills if you are interested in that. One of the things to also mention is if you are interested in purchasing these, you can get a 3% discount and also my decal when it comes to the game. And by using the discount, obviously, I get a bit of kickback, and then it's a bit cheaper for you, and also you get the decal. So if you're interested in that, please use it. We can all benefit from this. Now, when it comes to the tech tree itself, it starts off at rank 4. The major reason for this is because, well, Israel wasn't really formed until after World War II. So the idea of it having a rank 1 or 2 or even 3 is not really viable. For me personally, I thought they were going to start it at rank 3 and actually set it up like that. But instead, what they've decided to do is just start it at rank 4, which I think generally is not a terrible idea. I think it's a fine idea in general. But one of the things to note about the Israeli entry as well is if you don't buy a pack and after the closed beta testing is finished, to start researching the Israel Air Force Aviation, the player will need to at least purchase one aircraft of rank 4 in any of the following playable nations: the USA, Great Britain, France, or Israel. So pretty much what that means is if you want to get access to actually researching the tech tree, you will have to have already purchased a vehicle in another tech tree. So they're pretty much expanding the helicopter idea that we have for all of their tech trees, where you have to purchase a rank 5 either aircraft or tank from a nation to be able to get access to its helicopters. Now what they're doing is, in order to get access to Israel, you got to purchase a rank 4 vehicle from US, Great Britain, France, or Israel. I think they've added in Israel there, so that basically means that if you buy one of the packs, you get access to it. So that's how it's going to work for that. But if you want to just do it normally without a pack, you're going to have to be able to use either US, Great Britain, or France. So this is kind of an early warning to say if you haven't played those nations and if you are interested in the Israeli stuff, which to be honest, when we look at it, it's kind of like when China first came in. It's a good mix of other nations' vehicles, so if you want to be able to get access to it, quickly, then this would be the time. Another thing to also mention about this tech tree, it is heavily focused on CAS. I would say at least half of it is actually just CAS aircraft. So if you are one of those people who's really interested in Israeli ground, because since Israel has been released, since Israel has been announced, I've seen the vast majority of people talking about ground and not the aviation side of things. If you are interested in ground, then this would be an opportunity to be able to grind out all these vehicles in preparation for when the Israeli ground tech tree comes out. Because there is a lot of pretty decent ground hitters here. There's a lot of A4s. There's 3 variants of the A4. There's also the MD450, the Origin, which, we see in the French tree, which isn't a very fun vehicle. But there are quite a lot of options with the Vautours and then also the Nesher and the B-17, which maybe you want to bring along in ground realistic. Or maybe even Ground Arcade if it pops you in. Or maybe even Sim. I wonder if Israel will work out like that. But yeah, the Israeli Air Force tech tree has been announced. Hopefully, when it comes to the future of Israel, people will enjoy this tech tree. I think there's going to be a lot of negativity around this tech tree when it first comes in, just because there's a lot of vehicles which are either very similar to what we've seen before, or vehicles which could have bolstered other tech trees when it comes to the general game. But I like the fact that there's a lot of unique variants. We'll have to see how they play. A lot of the vehicles here, though, in the tree, like the Origin, the late to Meteors and the Misters, they're vehicles which I've played in other tech trees and haven't had a great time in. So this tech tree might be a bit rough, at least for me, but maybe others will enjoy it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Professor X 1718, Orange Tail, Sakoshi Tiger, BRFC 15, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe A, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, and then Kyle Kin, Barine, Lafouche, and also Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.